Welcome to the Spotlight by CG Ruthless, man. Let's welcome my special guest from UTEP, man. Wide receiver Trey Goodman, man. How's it going, bro?
What's going on, man? Everything's going well. Everything's good.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. For those people who are not familiar about you, man, tell me about yourself, man.
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Trey Goodman. I'm a receiver. Play football. Graduated from UTEP, and I was at Austin P for 3 years. Originally, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I have a wife. I have a daughter. Grew up in Atlanta. Lived there for all of my grade school days. Moved to Austin P. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Speaking of those Austin, PA guys, I mean, it seems like it's a pretty underrated school. So, what led you to go to that school in the beginning before you had any offers from high school? What led you to go there?
Definitely the coach and the coaching staff. Coach Walden, he's a great coach, and the way that he runs his program and his culture, it really is just something that's second to none, honestly. And he's a very personable guy. He's a man of integrity, someone who like you want to play for, someone who makes you, motivates you and makes you want to play for them and go out there, and it just drives that passion that you have for the game. So in the recruiting process, when he was talking to me and we were doing Zoom official visits. We were doing our meetings over Zoom then, we had a great official visit, and he talked to my parents. We had a great time, and we just loved the energy. So definitely the coach and the coaching staff and the culture that they had established there.
Okay, but you eventually transferred to like UTEP. So, what really changed your mind to go to that program? I mean, the environment. When you go to El Paso, it's mostly a Latino community. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, it's majority Latino. El Paso, aside from my head coach coming, so my head coach, after 3 years at Austin P, got the job here at UTEP. And so when he moved here and he got the job here in December of 23, I didn't know for a fact I was going, but that's where my heart was. And I played for him for 3 years. He took a chance on me. And so why not go out on a limb of faith, take a leap of faith and go out on a limb and follow him, because he's someone who's always, held his word and kept my back. And so I expected nothing different. I expected him to have my back. So why not have his back? And when he decided to come out here, I came with him. So, but El Paso is a great place. I love El Paso. It's a special place in my heart. My daughter was born here, lived here with my wife. So it's a beautiful city. We're full of great people. So
Yeah, it's a pretty nice city. I mean, it's a good kind of culture, especially for any other people who like. I mean, they like the football program. I just don't know too much because I know they haven't quite as winning as much. But you
mm.
can't go wrong with their stadium and the city alone.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's like when you go to these type of cities, man. It's a hot city at times, but you got a
Yeah.
big variety of cities in El Paso.
Yeah.
It's like but you're a little not too far from Mexico area. That's the difference. But
Yeah.
you got the good, I guess they got good culture over there because I mean I got
Mhm.
family that's probably like go down there before and visit. They tell me it's pretty good to go down there sometimes.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. When you think about El Paso, you think of the Guerrero families at times.
The Guerrero families. I'm
Oh,
not,
you're not too
I'm
much
not
into
much.
wrestling, but
Yeah.
no, but that's just like something out of the history because El Paso is like such a big deal when it comes to the Latin community. But
For
since
sure.
you already like followed your head coach and you liked the program and you wanted to go along with him because he believed in you, that kind of just tells you how much loyal you are to that guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Okay.
And he started out. I mean, the relationship started with him being very loyal to me, and so just having each other's back and returning the favor to him, and our relationship is really strong. So, like I said, it was a no brainer. I didn't want to play for anybody else my senior year.
Made a lot of sense. And plus, he was already getting the opportunity to be the head coach there. And sometimes you want to just go with the flow, like they say, follow the guy that helped you and got you where you're at.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
Yep.
Um, so so what NFL teams have you met with?
So at the Tropical Bowl, the way that it worked, the scouts were pretty much all over, like in the lobby, wherever, just having interviews and stuff like those. So you could go up and talk to whoever you wanted to, if you really wanted to. But as far as like organized and scheduled interviews at the Tropical Bowl, I had an interview with Chicago. I had an interview with Green Bay, And then I talked to Atlanta, talked to the Falcons, talked to the Titans a little bit. Um, I talked to the 49ers a decent amount too. The same scout that actually came to UTEP, he came and saw us during the season. He actually was the same scout that was at the Tropical Bowl as well. So I saw him. We had a pretty good conversation. There are a few other teams that I talked to, but more so just introducing myself, getting to know them. Not really in depth, just kind of allowing people to put a face to a name and just kind of hearing the name. So
Oh
those are
yeah,
the main teams that I've talked to.
it's got to be good to get some of the attention from the Tropical Bowl.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That was a great
Oh
time.
yeah, most definitely. So outside of football, who are you as a person?
A family man, someone who loves to spend time with his wife, spend time with his daughter. I love playing video games. I also recently have just picked up pickleball, which low key is becoming one of my like favorite things. But really, man, I'm just an active person, someone who's strong in my faith, a big believer in Christ, believer in God, and all that He's done for me. Someone who's a good friend, someone who likes to, talk about anything. I'm a great listener, but I also will talk your head off sometimes. I got to stop myself sometimes. But outside of football, man, I really feel like I'm just a personable guy, someone who's good to have around, someone who likes to have friends and likes to be around other people and meet new people. But honestly, most of the time, it just a nice person. Like to smile, like to see somebody, like to make somebody's day, and just really be a light, be as much of a light as I can.
Yeah, seems like you're kind of like a laid back guy. So growing up from Atlanta, you go from a metro area where it's mostly like because a lot of my friends who moved down there, they tell me it's nothing but a pretty nice city down there. But then you go
Yeah.
from Austin, PA, which is somewhere down Tennessee, right?
Yep. Clarksville, Tennessee. It's about 45 minutes outside Nashville.
Okay, so what was the environment like when you grew up from Atlanta, then going to Tennessee, and then going all the way to El Paso, bro? Because I know it had to be a long journey for you to go from all these places. You had to like at least compare the difference, right?
Yeah, they're three really different places, honestly. I will say growing up in Atlanta, it really was fun for me because I'm like a city boy at heart. I love to be around the city and I like to see the skyscrapers, I like to be riding down the highway, seeing those sights and those sort of things. But going to Tennessee definitely was a change for me. And it was something that I didn't know if I was necessarily looking forward to. Like actually when I first got the offer from Austin P, I wasn't sure where Clarksville was. I didn't even know where it was. I thought it was in Austin, Texas, truthfully. But I didn't know it was in Tennessee. And so being there for 3 years, it really broadened my horizons as far as like culture. Like it's a very different culture there. It opened me up to like not so much of city life and riding down the highway and seeing these skyscrapers and more so of like riding down back roads and trees and seeing all the wild animals and farms and those sort of things. But it isn't it's a different atmosphere, but it's not bad. Like it is very interesting. And I really do love Tennessee. Like I think that there's a good balance. I think there's a good balance if you have both the city life and like the country life and then the farm life and that kind of thing. And then coming to El Paso, it's like a whole different biome. Like it's desert. There's no trees. I saw a cactus for the first time in real life that when I moved here, and tumbleweeds and things like those. But there's mountains and it's beautiful. And there, like I said, the same thing with Tennessee. It's a whole different culture here. Like you said before, it's majority Latinos. I had a touch of my Spanish before I came here, so there's just a different sort of pride with this city, with the people that live here, and everyone who calls El Paso home. They have a lot of pride for the city, and they have a lot of pride for UTEP and supporters of the miners. But as far as the atmosphere, man, it's special. It's second to none, and it really is a beautiful city, and I love it here. I really do.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Like, see, you're starting to learn more about that city, right?
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, I'll show you what I meant when I said those other like those wrestlers. I mean, it's a big deal in El Paso, is what I'm saying. Because I mean, I know people from Texas. Anytime you bring up the name, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, those are the legends right there."
Oh yeah, you gotta put me on game. I don't know. You
Yeah,
gotta
you got
put
to
me
get
on.
ahead of your game when it comes to El Paso, bro. I'm trying to show you some of the roads because I know a lot of people down El Paso, but in El Paso, it is a huge vibe when it comes to that city. But yeah, you can't go wrong with it. It's a desert. It's just like When you think of El Paso, you think of a little bit like Fresno or other city vibes in California, but it's just in a desert, different area
Yeah,
with the border and all that stuff. So
yeah.
I was from Brownsville, Texas, which is kind of in between the other area, but lived in
Okay,
California majority of my life at 2 years old. So
cool,
yeah,
cool.
there is a difference. Like he just said, it's the country life in Tennessee, which you get a little bit different. But in Texas, you got a little bit of the city vibes depending on where you go.
Hmm. Yes, this is true. Like Dallas, Houston, Austin, those sort of places. Those are bigger cities.
Yeah. You thought Austin, PA was Austin, Texas, man. That had to at least be a little confusing. But, everybody gets it all mixed up at times,
Yeah,
man. But
I did.
at least when you go from your football career, man, at least when you go from looking back in college, what can you actually improve going into the NFL?
Man, I think the biggest improvement for me is really just becoming more a student of the game, really just understanding the way the game works and knowing how to get myself open and understanding, like, as far as if I'm going to progress to the next level, like, what are scouts going to look for? What's going to make me more marketable as a person? And really just at the end of the day, just continuing to be coachable, continuing to learn, take coaching and apply it because coaches, that's what they look for. They want someone who can take coaching and someone who can get better through the teachings that they're giving you. So I probably say improving off the field. All of my improvements, I would say I need to do off the field. And then on the field, I'd probably say just really being able to make people miss an open space and really just making that like my go-to and something that's like second nature to me. So that's probably what I'd say.
Okay, that's good. So when I look at this way, bro, like you might get this every now and then. So we'll go with common sense with how you deal with stuff on the football field. So let's say you have a quitter on your football team, and it's during the game. Let's say he's just selfish, doesn't care. He's already like upset at the role he was getting. So a
Mhm.
guy on your team gets hurt, and he refuses to go on the field. How do you deal with the circumstances where this guy just walks out?
Man, that's a good question. As a player, he already as a player and a teammate, if he has already come to the point where I understand like playing time or those sort of things, you're getting frustrated with your role. But at the end of the day, you're out there at the game, you're out there with a team. Like, I'm a big believer in starting what you finish. So I understand. I mean, if you think that quitting is best for you and you're going to do that, I would encourage that person to at least finish the game, right? You already started playing the game. Someone got hurt. You're about to go into the game. You don't want to play. Listen, you've been talking about an opportunity. You've been talking about wanting to get more playing time or something like that. Hey, maybe you never know. You might get in here and ball out and become our starting guy and become the star for the rest of the season. Like I would encourage that person to really view it as an opportunity to, for lack of a better term, prove the coaches wrong for, I guess, not playing him as much as not starting him. And then as a teammate to talking to the rest of the team, aside from this person that has decided to walk out or not play, I would just rally them and tell them that at the end of the day, the train's got to keep moving. Like the game has to go forward. This person may not want to play, or he may be walking out. Like, yes, obviously there's going to be a few people trying to bring him back, but if he's set on that and that's what he wants to do, listen, go ahead, do what you're going to do, man. Do what you think is best for you. I encourage you otherwise, but do what you think is best for you. But as far as everyone else on the team, like we can't let that be a distraction to us because like we still got a game to go win. We got to stay
Exactly.
locked in. We got to focus on our responsibility. Yes, this may happen. Yes, we have relationships with this person. Obviously, we want to see this person succeed. But if he thinks this is best for him, then he can go do it. I know what's best for us and what's best for the rest of the team is us winning this football game. So we just got to stay focused and not allow that to deter our attention from our game plan, from our scheme, and from focusing on dominating the opponent.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on what you said on that one. That's kind of a good way to put it. Like you want to convince him, like, hey man, this is your chance to make the most now. But if he doesn't want to be here, that's on him.
Yeah.
Just say like, in sidelines, let's say you have a situation with your quarterback down on the same page with the other wide receiver. How do you deal with something under the circumstances? Like, there's the heat of the moment, right? A teammate
Right.
will just get emotional, and the wide receiver's part just on his like the other wide receivers probably get on the quarterback's case and say, hey man, why'd you didn't give me the ball? And then the
Yeah.
quarterback just say, hey man, leave me alone.
I think in that moment, like the first thing you have to do with those guys is talk to them individually first, because obviously the coaches will say what they're going to say. But the best results in situations like those come when it's player driven. And as someone who's in the receiver room, I probably would go talk to the receiver and I would communicate with him that the game may not be going our way. It may not be, you might not be getting the results you want to see. You might not be getting the targets, but listen, there are anywhere from 2 to 4 receivers on the field at all times. So for you not to be getting targets is not rare. There are going to be games where receivers don't get targets. I've gone games where I haven't gotten a single catch, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a part of the game. Like, that's what you get when you sign up for it. And it may be your opinion that the quarterback isn't looking for you or isn't trying to throw you the ball. But even if that is the case, you going up to him and yelling at him ain't going to make him want to throw you the ball anymore. It's going to make him frustrated. It's going to throw him off his game. And anyone who's played football, especially offense, if you know a quarterback is off his game, then the team is off their game, because a quarterback is a leader of the team. And so if you're going to go up to the quarterback, don't approach him like, I would tell the man not to approach him, not to be so aggressive or be so hostile, because the quarterback has so much going on inside his head at every moment in the game. He's got to be thinking about reads. He's got to be thinking about plays. He's got to be thinking about telling each person what to do, the offensive line protection, running backs, receivers, routes, all that stuff. All while in his ear, he's listening to the coach, and the coach is telling him, hey, check here, look here, read here. You may want to do this. You may want to do that. And then on top of that, he's got to live with maybe mistakes he made earlier in the game or decisions he thinks he should have made differently. So there's just certain things that, like, when you're talking to a quarterback, you got to be smart about how you're talking to him, because he already has so much running through his mind. And then once you separate them and speak to them individually, and you understand what each person needs from each other, because all a quarterback needs for a receiver is to get open. If a receiver gets open and he doesn't throw him the ball, so what? It's not your fault. He's going through his reads. The receiver did his job. The receiver got open. He gave his chance to team to win. The quarterback has so much going on. So once you separate them, you bring them together. You say, hey, I was open on this play. I made a good move on the guy. Next time we come back to it, just take a peek at it. And it's that easy. And he's like, okay, I got you. It's more so of just encouragement rather than trying to beat him down. Like, hey, man, I was wide open. Why don't you throw me the ball? You're not looking for me at all. And I'm just like, and when you approach him with that hostility and being so harsh, it's like, I play quarterback. And when someone talks to me like that, I'm like, bro, all right, whatever. Just get out of my face. I'm like, I'm not going to want to throw you the ball if you approach me like that. So I think just making yourself open to receive.
Be a little petty for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes you want to be petty. Like, we're all men. Like, and there are women that play football as well. I mean, as men playing the sport, like, we have pride, we have egos.
Yeah, we have pride.
And when you attack them like that, it's not.
It's in the heat of the moment too, especially.
Exactly. It's not. It's just not productive for anybody.
It's not. It can bring a bad vibe for the team, because it's like, it can cost the team. Like, maybe it wasn't your time at that series, but the next play, and if that quarterback doesn't seem to trust you at this point, then you pretty much pushed them away with that trust.
Yeah.
Let's say you guys are down by multiple touchdowns going into halftime. What would be the best way to get this team to come from behind, man?
I'd say the biggest thing is learning from the mistakes we may have made, or what we shouldn't have been doing, or what we shouldn't have been doing during the first half, learning from it and flushing it immediately. Like, once you see, hey, we'll look at the tablets, go over the film, look over it, we're here. Or even if it's not like a football thing, maybe it's just a culture thing. Like, maybe we just didn't come out with enough juice, or maybe we're beating ourselves. Maybe we have too many penalties. I would just say, determine what it was that was causing us to not play well in the first half, acknowledge it, and then flip the switch. Because at the end of the day, yes, the first half happened. It was frustrating. We're down by this many points, but we still got a whole nother half to play. We still got another chance. We still got another shot to go and win this game. And coming at a halftime, you can't think with, obviously, we want to win football games. That's why people play the game, to win. But you can't come out thinking, oh, we're going to make this huge point comeback. We're going to do this big thing. You got to start small. You got to say, hey, let's go out here, have an efficient drive. Let's execute, and let's go get one on the board. Then we'll get rolling, and then we'll eventually mount that comeback. It's just step by step. Because if you try to take one big jump, then you're going to lose a lot in the process, and it won't be productive. And then you're going to end up in the same spot, not being able to score, not being able to get in the paint, not being able to execute at the level that you want to.
Okay, that's a good way to put it, man. Just try to go into something different and try to go with that approach, and then try to get on the same page with everybody else, and that's how it should go. But like just from your entire playing college football, why if you were to convince all 32 teams why they should draft you, man?
I think that I am one of the most coachable and knowledgeable players of the game in this draft class, or just in general. Not trying to compare myself to others, but just in general. Um, and the big thing that, if I had to sell myself, the big thing about it is that I've been playing this position for 4.5, going on 5 years, and I still am learning so much each and every day. So many different techniques, so many different approaches, so many different styles of running routes, or getting off press, or beating man coverage, or things like those. And seeing different coaches has allowed me to put so many different opinions and atmospheres and so many different tools in my tool bag. So I feel like my ceiling is in the sky, like through the roof. It's just like I feel that my return on investment, basically, I believe that if I'm invested in and someone invests in me, then the return that they'll get will be tenfold, because I'm someone who I like to think of myself as a sponge. Like when someone's coaching me, I just try and soak it all up, and then I can go out on the field and execute. And I just want to be coached. Like I want to be cared about, and I want to be, like I say, coached. I want someone to critique me. I want someone to be hard on me sometimes. I want someone to understand I want someone to understand the game better than me, and talk to me and teach me more about the game, so that I can become a better player. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. One of my coaches used to say, it's a get better business. And that's exactly what it is. If you're improving, then you make yourself more marketable. And I believe that I have a lot of improving to do. I am at this point, and yes, I have production, and I've done these things, and I have achievements and things that I've done. But I feel like my best days are ahead, and the best is yet to come for me. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm moving really well. I'm at a great weight. Being really efficient with my body and my mind. So I just feel that my best days are ahead, and if someone can invest in me, then they'll get that return on investment times whoever, however many they want.
I like how you kind of explained the details of that. I mean, it kind of gives them an idea what you're going to be. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from. So we'll do some rapid fire stuff. Seems like something you would probably do. I mean, let's say okay, for like I'm pretty sure you're probably not too big on fast food, but let's say if you had to choose one, McDonald's or Burger King, which one would it be?
McDonald's.
Damn, McDonald's is a common thing. I gotta say.
I really don't eat Burger King that much. Like I maybe could count on one hand how many times I've had Burger King in my life.
Okay, I mean it kind of is understandable, but when you look at other like options, okay. So in El Paso, I know in El Paso they got water burgers. Like, would you
Mhm.
even like? Did you ever try that place or not?
Yeah, I love Whataburger. It's fire.
So have you ever tried In and Out or not?
I have had In-N-Out, but I'm not really a huge fan of it.
So if you had to choose one between Waterburger and In and Out, which one would it be?
Definitely Whataburger. I think it's just because I've been to Whataburger way more times. Kind of like the same thing with McDonald's and
That
Burger
vibe a
King.
little, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, when you go to like Texas, like Waterburger is like their own version of McDonald's. Like it's like
it's huge.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a staple here. It's the
Yeah, it's a
chain. It's
staple to
the
the
place.
state. I mean, especially where it was originally made was in Corpus Christi. So it's like
Yeah,
I remember visiting my family down over there, and anytime you pass by, there's another Waterburger the next couple of minutes.
yeah, exactly.
It's just that crazy, man. But yeah,
There's Whataburgers
but
every turn, every corner.
but for soda, I know probably something you probably balance on. But I'm saying like, okay, for like Coca Cola or Pepsi, what would you drink?
I guess Coca-Cola. Actually, no, yeah, I say Coke. I really don't drink soda very often. But if I'm gonna choose between Coke and Pepsi, I will say Coke, because they have the cherry Coke is really really good. Like in the times
Yeah.
that I do have soda, I do enjoy a good cherry Coke.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess somebody's suggesting you if you ever go to In-N-Out next time they say try animal style fries or burger fries. I think that's probably the best one they got at In-N-Out.
Animal style, okay. Animal style hamburger or fries. Okay, I have to try that.
Yeah, it's probably one of the top favorites in In-N-Out too, from my understanding. But I
Hmm.
can see why you say Coca-Cola because it's from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, hey, you got the water Coke downtown. There you go. I do love
Yeah.
Coke. Yeah,
So
vanilla
okay,
Coke is
so if
pretty
you had to
good too.
choose between a PlayStation or an Xbox, which one would you pick?
Honestly, I would probably say at this point in time, right now, today, if I had to make a choice, it would be PlayStation. Just because most of my friends are on PlayStation now. A lot of people have made the conversion, but early on, it was Xbox. Like I was always Xbox 360. I do play Xbox now, but I mean, with crossplay, like you can pretty much play with whoever you want. Crossplay is almost on every game now. But I would probably say PlayStation if I had to choose one. But growing up, my parents got all of my consoles, so it was Xbox all the way for the most part.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of like a change of thing. I mean, I used to be a PlayStation guy at a younger age, but then when I got older, I just got more accustomed to Xbox. So it's like
Yeah.
it became my thing. Well, let's see. I guess I could answer a couple questions for this one. I think Papa Jeff forgot to put this question right here. Is there big bugs in Tennessee like they are in Texas?
Uh, Not in the more sometimes I would say like in the late summer and fall, they have like those big dragonflies. They come around and they'll fly around the field. When it gets like really humid, they have those big dragonflies. And then in the fall, we also got cicadas. But cicadas don't really I mean, they don't really mess with you. They just make a lot of noise. They're just loud in the summers. But there aren't like huge bugs. Not like here in Texas, man. One of my coaches during the season saw a stinking scorpion bug, and it was wild. He took a picture of it for us, and I was like, "This is insane. I've never seen one of these in real life." But yeah, no, it's not nearly as big. The bugs are not nearly as big as they are here in Texas.
I guess Tennessee's got them big bugs, I guess.
Yeah, they have some of them. They have a few.
Oh, they sure do. Okay. So as far as like a go-to shopping, let's say you had to pick between Target or Walmart, which place would you go to?
Ooh, that's a good question. uh, it depends on what I'm getting, but for me, I would probably say Walmart. But
Can't
low
go wrong with
key,
it.
recently, my wife has turned me on to Target. I've been liking Target much more now because we go in there and
Oh, she
I really
changed your
didn't.
heart. She wants you to
Yeah, a
go
little bit
save
of
some
change of heart.
prices, right? Can't go
I
wrong.
didn't even know Target had food. I didn't know Target had like groceries and stuff for the longest time. I thought it was like just clothes. I had no clue. I thought it was like similar to Marshalls or Ross. But
Oh,
lately, I've been turned on to Target. But if I had to, early on, I'd probably say Walmart.
oh, okay. Sounds good. To answer, I don't know. I don't think you played when Calvin was there because I think you were, if I'm mistaken, you transferred from Austin, PA, way before this guy even left.
Uh, yeah, I didn't play or no, I didn't play with Cow. Who is it? Cowing or Coing?
Yeah, Jacob
Cowing or
Cowan. He
Coing?
was a UTEP guy, but I think it was like 3 years before you even came.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't get to play with them.
He
I
was
was
like
at UTEP.
a undersized receiver, just like you, but quick also.
Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't play with him. I played with
Yeah, because
or
you
I didn't
probably
get to play with him.
transferred
I
from
got
going
him
to
in
Austin, PA,
2024.
huh?
I got here in January 2024. Wait, what'd you say? I didn't hear you.
No, because he was talking about did you play with Jacob Cowan when he was at UTEP, which you weren't even there. You like from looking at your track record, you were at Austin, PA before.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I wasn't there.
Yeah, but that's a guy that you would probably want to model your game a little bit because he's got some speed.
Yeah, I have to do
So
some
okay,
research after
so
this.
who was a player that you look up to and that you wanted to play your game up to?
Player that I look up to is definitely Demario Davis, linebacker for the Saints. He he's a really strong man of faith. He's a great leader, and he's someone that you want to model your act after and in your life in general. He's someone that is very powerful, and he's a great leader as well. He's a really good leader, great person. And then model my game after. I I don't like to put this into just one box. Obviously, like you said, I am.
Put as much multiple box all
Yeah,
at
that's what
once.
I'm
That makes
saying.
sense.
Comparatively, I am a little bit undersized compared to other receivers or bigger guys, but I don't feel like there's anything on the field that I can't do. Obviously, I know that I'm not as fast as someone like Tyreek Hill, or I'm not as big as someone like Megatron. But I like to think that when there's a jump ball, I got to have that Megatron mentality, and like I'm going up to get this no matter what. And then if I got to run by somebody, I got to have that like cheetah mindset and say I'm gonna just run past this dude. But I think in certain things, there's a different approach depending on what you're doing. But if I had to choose just one receiver, I'd probably say like a Larry Fitzgerald type of build.
Yeah, he was very consistent, very professional, played for a long time, but
Yeah,
he
he
didn't have
did
the
really
speed, but he made up for that. So
really good longevity in the league, consistent
yeah.
guy.
The more I kind of watch your game, I'm kind of thinking a little bit like the guy that he just brought up. I see a little bit of Calvin, man, just a little bit.
Well, hey, I'm honored. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you might need to reach out for that guy for some advice, man, because he used to play at UTEP and then he transferred to Arizona.
Yeah, okay. I definitely will.
Yeah,
I
Jacob
definitely
Calvin
will.
was one of those. He was a very productive receiver at UTEP I think he was only there for 2 years or three, if I'm
Okay.
mistaken, and then he transferred and went to Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely do
Oh,
some
I
research, see if
like
I can
this
reach
one.
out.
How has your faith shaped your experience on the football field?
Oh man, this is a great question. This is the best question all day. My faith is, yeah, so this is huge. I think just understanding who God is, who Jesus is, and what He's done for us, and us wanting to model our lives after Him and live more like Christ has allowed me to absolutely change my mindset on the field. Um, really just approaching it with the mentality that like I'm out here because of the grace of God. Like I'm out here because Jesus has allowed me to have the talents, have the abilities to come out here and display these things. Like, so I believe that really football is my platform. It's not who I am. It's just something I do. But a man of God is not just something I do. It's who I am. And so it really has shaped me and allowed me to be a great leader because I'm following the greatest leader of all time, and that's Jesus Christ and our Father, our Heavenly Father, who is God. Man, it really has made me grow as a player, and more so as a person. But it really has allowed me to grow as a player and understand that my days on the field are numbered. My days wearing the cleats and being able to strap it up. I don't necessarily have any guaranteed left. But so it just makes you take each and every play like it's your last and take it very, very seriously. And, I always just kind of think to myself, like, if this was your last play and you knew it, how much harder would you go? And you just got to have that mentality and approach every play like it's your last because you never know. But if you play like that, then you won't ever have any regret. And I think that's just the biggest thing. It's like whenever I'm done playing the game, I don't want to have any regret. So that's what faith is to me, and that's how it has shaped my experience on the football field. Great
Oh yeah,
question, Papa J.
it takes it like a one step at a time type of approach, but it's got to be very challenging for you, especially how you're able to balance your family life, academics, football, and all that. It's got to be a little difficult to overcome for some people, right?
Yeah. So, what challenges have you encountered while balancing family life, academics, and football? So, I'll start with the challenges. I think the biggest one is just time management. Man, just allowing myself to, or not allowing myself, but making myself be able to compartmentalize my life as a husband, as a father, as a football player, and as a student. Um, allowing myself to not be strict with my time and what I do with each part of my life, each of those categories. Sometimes it can come back to bite me in the butt because I may forget about an interview, or I may forget that my wife asked me to go get this thing from the store because I was frustrated. I didn't have a great practice, or I didn't do well on a test, or I didn't study enough, or things, something like those. But I would say definitely time management is one, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to be my best at all of these things, I've got to be my best self. So along with those things, one thing, and this is kind of to answer how I have to overcome them, or how I have overcome them. To answer that question is another category is like focusing on family, focusing on academics, focusing on football, but also focusing on me. And in that time where I'm focusing on me, I'm allowing myself to be at peace. I'm allowing myself rest so that I can be at my best for each of these categories and really be able to give my best self to each of these things. Because obviously, I can't be a great football player without also being a great husband, and I definitely can't be a great father without also being a great husband. So all of these things go hand in hand, right? They're under the umbrella that is my life, but they all go hand in hand and they connect together. So my coach always used to say, "How you do one thing is how you do everything." So I really believe that, and yeah, so that kind of
Oh,
answers your
okay.
question.
That's a good way to put it because I know it's challenging at times, and I know some people have a little difficult on balancing it, but it just has to be working for everybody else. But so like, what's your other option? Because I know for majors when you study college, you got to have like a major or some backup plan in case.
hmm Yeah, so initially my major was kinesiology, the exercise science focus. I wanted to do PT, but I actually ended up switching my major at Austin P to health and human performance, um, and get my degree in that so that I could be maybe like a coach or maybe like a personal trainer of some sort. But yeah, so that's the goal. Whenever I decide to hang up the cleats, my goal is hang up the cleats and pick up a whistle. I want to coach, whether it is like strength and conditioning coach at a school, or if it's speed and agility coach at like a personal gym or something like that, or even if it's more so of just like position coaching, just like receiver specific drills. That's something that I'm passionate about. I believe that coaches change lives and they have a lot of impact on not just the youth, but whoever they are coaching in general. So I would say coaching is going to be my outlet whenever I'm done playing football.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good option to have. But I'm pretty sure you'll make it to the pros and have a solid career. But you always got to have something in case. You got to stay
Yeah,
ahead of the game, as what all those people would say. You got to stay ahead, make sure things work out. And
yeah, for sure.
so, I guess I can go with one more question, then we can end it from here. How do you prepare for your opponents, or how do you study your film before you get ready for those games?
Yeah. So the main thing that I focus on during the week, the main thing that I focus on is the DB that I'll be facing, because the way we ran our offense, it was mostly I would stay on one side, and depending on the defense, if they flip corners, if they go field or boundary, or if they play sides. So I would start off focusing on the corners, trying to see their tendencies, learn the things that they do. But the thing that helped me is I would find people that they played against and find receivers that are similar build to me, similar, the way that they play the game, and saw that they had success and see the ways that they had success, and then understanding why they had success based on that DB, what their tendencies are, or what their habits or the things that they resort to in certain times. So I would start out the week looking at DBs, looking at the corners, looking at the safeties, like I said, seeing what other receivers had success against them. And then I would go into, and this is kind of what we did as a team, but I would go into their scheme. So I go into what coverage they like to run more often than not, what they like to do on third downs, red zone sections, depending on where we are on the field, and just really understanding what I'm going to get from the defense, because you play best when you're confident, and you play most confident when you have a good idea what the defense is going to give you and where they're going to change depending on, maybe it's like blitzes, sending pressures, or back end rotation with the safeties and corners, or even linebackers. Just understanding the shell of the defense and what their habits are and what they do, and what makes them go. Because everybody's got a scheme, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a scheme, and everybody's got something they stay true to. And although there are game plan plays, at the end of the day, people are going to do what they believe in, and people are going to do what they've had success with. So just seeing how other people have success and the things that they do and their tendencies, and
Okay.
understanding how I'm going to have to approach that.
Oh, my bad.
No, no, you're good. You're good.
No, but like the way you said it, it kind of gives you a better tendency of what to expect, especially how you match up with the cornerback and all that stuff. You kind of have you would have a better understanding of what they're good and what they're not good at.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure. So I guess one last one. So are you a trash talker, or are you a guy that lets your play do the talking?
Yeah, I mean, I let my play do the talking. I don't really trash talk a whole bunch. I usually I'm a pretty fun dude on the field because kind of like I said before, like I'm not taking it for granted. I'm really soaking it up and enjoying the moment. And so if somebody's like talking trash to me or if they're really getting into it, like a lot of times I'll just make a joke out of it. It'll be like, hey man, that hurt my feelings. That was not nice. Or I just, just something that'll make them think about it. Like just something to let them know that I'm not taking them seriously because I understand the competitive nature, but at the end of the day, you saying anything to me ain't gonna change my game. So I'm not really a trash talker. I will talk out on the field, but not talk trash.
So it's
I just
only
say whatever's on
necessary
my
if they
mind.
come at you first.
You said what?
So it's only necessary if they trash you first, then you do the retaliation, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even call it retaliation. Yeah,
So you're
it's
more of a
just
guy that lets your play do the talking most of the time. But if they had to talk to you that way, then you would have that energy back to them, right?
no. I would not have the same energy as them. I would not at all.
Okay.
I
Well,
would
in
not.
all seriously, bro, I definitely appreciate your time, bro. I know you got a lot going. I know you got a training, bro. So whatever happens from your journey, man, it's gonna be worth it. All those years of college football is finally gonna pay off, man. So whatever the next opportunity you present yourself, I'm definitely rooting for you to succeed. Whether you make a second appearance on this show or not, man, I'm pretty sure maybe the faithful might know who you are, or maybe those 31 teams will have to know who you are. But it's like it's going to be worth the process, man. So hopefully everything kind of works out for yourself, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, CG.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So for those people who want to look for you on their social media platform, man, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at TreyG3. They're all the same thing, man. So, or sorry, not Twitter, X. But yeah, you can find me anywhere on there. I actually am going to be starting up a YouTube channel soon, so be looking out for that. But yeah, you can reach out to me on social media.
All right, for sure. For everybody else, this is UTEP's wide receiver, Trey Goodman, man. Don't sleep on this guy. He's going to make you pay, man. This guy plays in the desert, man. Don't let it fool you, man. This guy plays bigger than his size.
I appreciate it. Thank you, CG.
All right, anytime. For everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in.